Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe. Jaya Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga. Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol.
जय ओम विष्णुपादवरमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्यष्टोत्तरधर्षि हे शिवान ग्रेस भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की अनंतरा श्रीमद्भागवतम की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततोऽक्षयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु बद्धेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीत्थमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter number 15, text number 31. ताभ्यां मिसत्सु अनिमिषेषु निषध्यमानाः। ताभ्यां मिसत्सु अनिमिषेषु निषिध्यमानाः। ताभ्यां मिसत्सु अनिमिषेषु निषिध्यमानाः। अर्हतमा हि अपि हरेः प्रतिहारा प्राभ्याम् स्वहर्हतमा हि अपि हरेः प्रतिहारपाभ्याम्। स्वहर्हतमा हि अपि हरेः प्रतिहारप्राभ्याम्। ऊचुः हुरत्थमा दिदृक्षित भंग ईशा। ऊचः सुहृत्तम दिदीक्षित भंग ईशा। ऊचुः सुहृत्तम दिदीक्षित भंग ईशा। कामानुजेन सहसा ता उपप्लुताक्षाः। कामानुजेन सहसा च उपप्लुताक्षाः। कामानुजेन सहसात उपप्लुताक्षाः ताभ्यामिषत्सु अनिमिषेषु निषध्यमानाः स्वअर्हतमा हि अपि अरेः प्रतिहार पाभ्याम् ऊचुः सुहृत्तमदिदीक्षितभङ्ग ईशा कामानुजेन सहसा स उपप्लुताक्षाः ताभ्यामिषत्सु निमिषेषु निषिध्यमानाः स्वअर्हतमा हि अपि हरेः परिहाद बभ्याम् ऊजुः सुहृत्तमदिदीक्षितभङ्ग ईश कामानुजेन सहसा सदुपप्लुताक्षाः श्री राधा कृष्ण की निताय गौर श्रील प्रभुपाद की ताभ्यामिषत्सु निमिषेषु निषिध्यमानाः स्वहर्हतमा हि अपि हरेः प्रतिहार बाभ्याम् ऊजुः सुहृत्तमदिदीक्षितभङ्ग ईश कामानुजेन सहसा स उपप्लुताक्षाः ताभ्यामिषत्सु निमिषेषु निषिध्यमानाः स्वअर्हतमा हि अपि अरेः अति हारपाभ्याम् ऊजुः सुहृत्तमदीक्षितभङ्ग ईशा कामानुजेन सहसा स उपप्लुताक्षाः ताभ्यामिषत्सु निमिषेषु निषिध्यमानाः स्वअर्हतमा हि अपि हरेः प्रतिहार पाभ्याम् ऊजुः सुहृत्तमदिदीक्षितभङ्ग ईश कामानुजेन सहसा स उपप्लुताक्षाः ताभ्यामिषत्सु अनिमिषेषु निषिध्यमानाः सहृत्तमा हि अपि हरेः प्रतिहारताभ्याम् ऊजुः सुहृत्तमदीक्षितभङ्ग ईश कामानुजेन सहसा उपपक्षमासाः ताभ्यामिषत्सु निमिषेषु निद्यमानाः सुहृत्तमा हि अपि हरेः प्रतिहार पाभ्याम् ऊजुः सुहृत्तमदीक्षितभङ्ग ईश कामानुजेन सहसा स उपप्लुताक्षाः. What word meaning? Tabhyam, by those who two partners. Sorry. by those two porters. Misatsu, while looking on. Animisheshu, demigods living in Vaikuntha. Nishidhyamanaha, being forbidden. Su arhatamaha, by far the fittest person. He api, all arehe of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pratihara Pabhyam, by the two doorkeepers. Uchuhu said, Suhruthama, most beloved. Didrikshita, eagerness to see. Bhange, hindrance. Isha, slight. Kamanujena, by the younger brother of lust. Anger. Sahasa, suddenly. Those great sages, Upaplata, agitated. Akshaha, eyes. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada here. Translation: when the Kumaras, although by far the fittest persons, were thus forbidden entrance by the two chief doorkeepers of Sri Hari, while other divinities looked on, their eyes suddenly turned red because of anger due to their great eagerness to see their most beloved master, Sri Hari, the personality of Godhead. Translation with the repetition. When the Kumaras, although by far the fittest person, were thus forbidden entrance by the two chief doorkeepers of Sri Hari, while other divinities looked on, their eyes suddenly turned red because of anger due to their great eagerness to see their most beloved master, Sri Hari, the personality of Godhead. Purport. According to the Vedic system, a sannyasi, a person in the renounced order of life, is dressed in saffron-colored garments. This saffron dress is practically a passport for the mendicant and sannyasi to go anywhere. The sannyasi's duty is to enlighten people in Krishna consciousness. Those in the renounced order of life have no other business but preaching the glories and supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Vedic sociological conception is that a sannyasi should not be restricted. He is allowed to go anywhere and everywhere he wants and is not refused any gift he might demand from a householder. The four Kumaras came to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana. The word Suhrittama, best of all friends, is important. As Lord Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita, he is the best friends of all living entities, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. No one can be a greater well-wishing friend to any living entity than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is so kindly disposed towards anyone that in spite of our towards everyone that in spite of our completely forgetting our relationship with the Supreme Lord. He comes himself sometimes personally as Lord Krishna appeared on this earth, and sometimes as his devotees, as did Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and sometimes he sends his bona fide devotees to reclaim all the fallen souls. Therefore, he is the greatest well-wishing friend of everyone, and the Kumaras wanted to see him. The doorkeeper should have known that the four sages had no other business, and therefore to restrict them from entering the palace was not apt. In this verse, it is figuratively stated that the younger brother of desire suddenly appeared in persons when the sages were forbidden to see their most beloved personality of Godhead. The younger brother of desire is anger. If one's desire is not fulfilled, the younger brother anger follows. Here we can mark that even great saintly persons like Kumaras were also angry, but they were not angry for their personal interest. They were angry because they were forbidden to enter the palace to see the personality of Godhead. Therefore, the theory that in the perfectional stage one should not have anger is not supported in this verse. Anger continues even in the liberated state. These four mendicant brothers, the Kumaras, were considered liberated persons, but still they were angry because they were restricted in their service to the Lord. The difference between the anger of an ordinary person and that of the liberated persons, that on the ordinary persons become, and that of the liberated person is that an ordinary person becomes angry because his sense desires are not being fulfilled, whereas a liberated person like the Kumaras become angry when restricted in discharge of duties for serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the previous verse, it has been clearly mentioned that the Kumaras were liberated persons, vidithatma tattva, means one who understands the truth of self-realization. One who does not understand the truth of self-realization is called ignorant. But one who understands the self, the Supreme Self, their interrelation and activities in self-realization is called vidithatma tattva. Although the Kumaras were already liberated persons, they nevertheless become angry. This point is very important becoming liberated does not necessitate losing one's sensual activities. Since activities continue even in the liberated stage, the difference is, however, that sense activities in liberation are accepted only in connection with the Krishna consciousness, whereas sense activities in the conditioned stage are enacted for the personal sense gratification. The sense of Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnanadimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnuvadhaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Bracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhasha Deshadalini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Ghora Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, the chapter description of the kingdom of God. Lord Brahma is speaking to the demigods about the incident where the four Kumaras of Lord Brahma, Brahmadeva, Manasa Putras of Brahma, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara, they are Vidithatma Tattva. Vidithatma Tattva means he say, Vidithatma means completely self-related. They know the science of the self. And those great sages are wandering everywhere without any proper destination, entering the Vaikuntha planet, and they passing through the sixth gate and seventh gate. The two doorkeepers are restricted them to enter into the palace. This was we discussed in the previous verse. The great sages headed by Sanaka had opened doors everywhere. They had no idea of ours and theirs. With own minds, they entered the seventh door out of their own will, just as they passed through the six other doors, which were made of gold and diamonds. And the four boys, sages, who had nothing to cover their bodies but the atmosphere, looked only 5-year-old, even though they were oldest of all the living creatures, and had realized the truth of the self. But when the porters who happened to possess a disposition quite unpalatable to the Lord saw the sages, they blocked their way with their stuffs, despising their glories, although the sages did not deserve such treatment at their hand. So, Brahma is telling, these sages are oldest of all. Even though they are oldest of all, still they look like a 5 years boys. Their body is not covered when in class. And when they not deserve such treatment, okay, goalkeepers are stopping them, such treatment is not deserved. But and thus such kind of treatment for the sages is displeasing to the Lord. So Lord himself don't like mistreating the great devotees of the Lord. So that what Brahma say. When Kumar, then as today's verse, when the Kumaras, although by far the fittest persons, were thus forbidden entrance by the two chief doorkeepers of the Hari, while other divinities looked on, their eyes suddenly turned red because of anger due to their great eagerness to see their most beloved master, Sri Hari, the personality of Godhead. So, when doorkeeper stopped them, then these four sages, they become angry. The reason of angry here, you say, the reason of the angry, because their eagerness to have the darshan of the Lord Sri Hari, the personality of Godhead, and they stopped them to have the darshan. So that what they become angry. So Prabhupada speaks in the purport many things. So Prabhupada say, according to the Vedic system, the sannyasi, a person in which renounced order of life, is dressed in saffron colored garment. This saffron dress is practically a passport for a mendicant and sannyasi to go anywhere. In the renounced order of life, anyway, the sannyasi's duty to enlighten the people in Krishna consciousness. So, very important things Prabhupada say. The sannyasi, a very saffron dress, and whoever have the renounced order of life, so generally saffron dress will be used by the renounced or totally detached. And such detached people not have any other business than enlightening the common public in Krishna consciousness. Because they not have any personal desire other than serving the Lord. That is the reason such sannyasi allowed everywhere. That means, Prabhupada say, who was wearing the saffron dress, which is the passport for them to go anywhere, and they not be stopped by anyone. So these are passports. So for example, if you have to go to some other country, we need a passport. Without a passport, you cannot enter another country. So similarly, for the sannyasis to enter any places, so who are wearing saffron dress is allowed. So you should not be stopped. This was the Vedic culture. So in the previous verse also we are discussing about Sukadeva Goswami used to go in the morning to householders and he asks for some milk. When the householder is milking the cow, you ask for some milk. And purpose of the Sukadeva Goswami is not going to collect some milk, not. The purpose of Sukadeva Goswami goes to the householder to enlighten them, and this is one of the reasons to interact with them. So similarly, Prabhupada earlier said, when a sannyasi's demand for something from a householder should give that whatever the sannyasi demands. The householder should not say, oh, I don't give. So when a householder asks for, when a sannyasi is asking for something, the householder should give whatever sannyasi. Normally, a sannyasi don't demand anything. And when normally demand for anything, but sometimes the sannyasi may demand, and that demand for the purpose of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anything is connected to Krishna consciousness. That's the reason a householder should give whenever a sannyasi demands for something. So we will say, therefore, Vedic sociological conception is that sannyasi should not be restricted. He is allowed to go anywhere and everywhere he wants, and he not refused by any gift he might demand for the householder. When he asks for a gift, the householder should give. So the four Kumaras came to see Supreme Personality Godhead Narayana. The word Suhrittama, best of all the friends. And here Prabhupada says, Suhrittama is the best, is important here. So Lord here is mentioned. Okay, here mentioned Lord is Suhrittama. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. Suhridam means I am friend to each and every living entity. and the friend always is the well-wisher of others. Okay, some friends are well-wisher. So here Lord is the well-wisher of every living entity. So now these four Kumaras are want to have the darshan of the Suhrittama. Suhrittama is one of the name here of the Lord. Does that mean? Why is Suhrittama? Say Lord is supreme friend of every best of all the friends. No one in this world have a friend like Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the best friend of everyone. He is the best friend of all the living entities. Living entities. Surda Sarvabhutana. No one can be greater well-wishing friend to any living entity than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is so kind disposed toward everyone that in spite of our complete forgetting our relationship with the Supreme Lord, He comes Himself sometimes personally. So, such a great friend, when there is friends in relationship, when they have the good relation, when one is obeying the other and he is obeying other person, when there is a such kind of relationship, then the friendship will continue. When one person is not obeying other's person demands or anything, then the friendship will cut. Here the Prabhupada say the Lord, so everyone have the eternal relationship with God. Some of you have forgotten our eternal relationship with God. Even though we have forgotten our relationship with God, you have forgotten the God, still this Lord is keep relationship with this all the time, even though we forgotten, but Lord is not forgetting. So that is the reason Lord here Prabhupada telling, Lord comes this world to take them back to Godhead. So three forms He comes. One is Lord Himself is risen as a incarnation. Lord comes like Rama, Narasimha, the incarnation. And one more say, Prabhupada say, Lord Krishna appear in this earth here. He comes Himself, sometime personally, as Lord Krishna appeared in this earth, and sometimes as His devotee. The Lord comes as His devotees. What is when Lord is coming as a devotee? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay? Lord comes as devotee as did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So He comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And sometimes He sends His bona fide devotees to reclaim all the fallen souls. Some acharyas. So in this way, Lord comes. He is so supreme well-wisher or friend of everyone. So even though we forgotten, but Lord never forget, and He want to come again to take every fallen conditioned souls are back to the Godhead. So therefore, He is the greatest well-wishing friend of everyone, and the Kumaras wanted to see Him. The doorkeeper should have known that the four Kumaras had no other business, and therefore restrict them from entering the palace was not apt. No, here the Prabhupada is concluding. So the purpose of the Kumaras are entering the gate, not have any other reason that the darshan of the Supreme Lord. That's the reason stopping them to entering the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, it is not correct. So when they stop, the sages, you say, in this it is you say younger, when sages are overpower the younger brother of desire, Younger brother of the desire is angry. So, ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंस संगस्थोपजायते संगात् संजायते कामः कामात् क्रोधो विजायते. When a person is contemplating on Vishaya, some material things, Sangasto Pajayati, then he level with attachment. And when from the attachment, desires develop. When desires are not fulfilled, Krodho Vijayati, anger comes. So here also, when these sages the desires are not fulfilled. The desire of the sages are to have the darshan of the Lord, and that is forbidden by the two gatekeepers. And younger brother of desire, the anger is overpowered. So these sages are angry. But Prabhupada says, yeah, generally we think, okay, so sadhu should not be angry. Sadhu should not be angry. So here Prabhupada says, yeah, so here say, Prabhupada say, if one's desire is not fulfilled, the younger brother anger follows. Here we can mark that even a great saintly persons like Kumaras were also angry. But they were not angry for their personal interests. They were angry because they were forbidden to enter in the palace to see the Supreme Personality of God. Therefore, the theory that in the perfectional stage, one should not have anger is not approved in this verse. So normally sadhus shanti rehna chahiye, sant ko gussa nahi aana chahiye, so you should not be angry. That is not approved by this verse. So anger will continue even in the liberated stage. So anger will continue in the liberated stages. No, here is a very important thing. See, all these emotions have a value. It not be considered in the one platform. Emotion itself not having. Emotion connected to the action, it is have a effect. So your anger is emotion that is connected, okay, because they are forbidden to see the Supreme Lord. That's the reason anger, but not for any sense gratification. Prabhupada is comparing. Common people are angry when there were some material sense gratification is stopped. Everyone want to enjoy some sense gratification. When sense gratification is not allowed, then he will get angry. So these sages are not angry for, okay, because they stopped the sense gratification, because their only purpose was angry because they are forbidden to have the darshan of the Lord. Similarly, many example, Prabhupada also quotes, okay, Arjuna is the great devotee of the Lord. Arjuna was angry towards the Kauravas. Initially, Arjuna was very compassionate towards against the Kauravas. When Lord is inspiring me, he is telling the truth, okay, it is my order, you should fight. Then Arjuna was angry. Because for the Lord's sake, he was angry. Similarly, in the other case, like Narada Muni. When Narada Muni was going, then there is Kubera's two Kumaras are playing with the women naked. And Narada was angry because these people, out of money, they were losses their etiquette. So teach them the lesson and elevate, the purpose of elevating them. Narada Muni cursed. He is angry, he cursed them. So anger is, here Prabhupada says, anger he continue even in liberation stage. Don't think, okay, the great devotee is not angry, but they have angry for a purpose to benefit of other people. Here also same thing. When Kumara is angry, there is a purpose why Kumara is angry. One is as a gatekeeper of Lord Vishnu, they must be qualified to identify the sages and purpose of the sages. So, when a innocent person, okay, when a person is not very qualified, if he do some mistakes, such mistakes will be excused. When a person has proper responsibility and he have qualified and still doing the mistake and continue to do the mistake, then that will be punished. But a person is innocent, okay, unknowingly or out of lack of knowledge something. But here the doorkeeper of the Vaikuntha planet, that means they must be highly qualified. Not an ordinary person becoming doorkeeper. That's the reason these two Kumaras are angry towards them. Dasa, therefore Kumaras are angry towards the doorkeepers. So, whereas liberated persons, Kumaras become angry for the discharge their duties for the duties for the Supreme Personality. Okay, Kumaras are angry because they are forbidden to do their discharge their duty towards the Supreme Lord. So, the liberated soul's duty is what? Simply to please the Lord. Many ways. Every activity of the great acharyas or great sages, saintly people, how to please the Supreme or how to engage in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Prabhupada concluding in the last verse, last paragraph, he say, so these sages are vidithatma tattva. Means one understood the truth of self-realization. One who does not understand the truth of self-realization is called ignorant. But one who understood the self, the super self, their interrelation and activities in self-realization is called vidithatma tattva. So, activities of the great soul like Kumaras are completely connected to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, they not have any personal sense gratification. So, that's the reason. So, the anger of the great sages is properly justified here. So, I'll stop here to continue. Yes. मेरी आवाज नहीं आ रही ठीक से. नो वो पहले वर्ष में बताया क्योंकि दे मेंटेन देमसेल्फ एज ए small children, even though they oldest of all, they remain. So even if you see birth, death, old age, diseases, a person condition for them. For a liberated person is the generally yogis can maintain their body whatever they want, what is the way they want. And great devotees are what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the greatest of yogis who always remember me is the greatest of yogis. That means someone is liberated person or completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness, he is the great yogi. Mean, even though you don't exhibit yogic power, but they have all the ability of yogis what they having. So a great devotee can maintain themselves, okay, whatever they liberate. In another way, if a person is liberated, mean he is beyond the three modes of material nature. You don't come to three modes of material nature. So three Kumaras are not come, even though they living in the this material, but otherwise, okay, common conditions और वैकुंठ जाने के लिए नहीं हो सकता है with the same body. Yes, I mean they are the personality qualified to live in Vaikuntha planet. In Vaikuntha planet, birth, death, old age is free. You're free from the birth or the three miseries of material world. इसलिए वो हम तो कंडीशन है, हम टोटली अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ थ्री मोड्स ऑफ मेटेरियल नेचर. सो ये प्रकृति का कुछ भी नियम है हमारा लागू होता है, बट ये ग्रेट सेजस है. तो कभी कभी ऐसा वक्त ग्रेट सेजस विल मेन फॉलो ये मेटेरियल लॉ को फॉलो भी करता है, और नहीं करना है नहीं भी कर सकते हैं. कैसे भगवान गीता में बताता है, ओके. तो मैं ये जगत का सारे नियम को फॉलो करना मेरे तक कोई लागू नहीं है, मैं उसको फॉलो करना जरूरत नहीं, फिर भी मैं करता है कभी. ऐसे साधु तो ये लिबरेटेड सोल है, तो ये जगत के नियम को फॉलो भी करते थे, करने की जरूरत नहीं, क्योंकि दे हैव द एबिलिटी, उसको पावर है. सो ये रीजन है. तो दे मेंटेन देयर यंगनेस. उससे पहले बताया प्रभुपाद एक परपोर्ट में बताते हैं चीज, दो मेंटेन देयर यंगनेस. हरे कृष्ण. श्रील प्रभुपाद.